Hey, what's up, guys? Houston here. Look, let me tell you all something. When you're trying to get business funding, I would tell you is to go to tier 3, okay? Level tier 3. Now, what that means is that there's 4 levels of funding, okay? So, and I'm gonna break this down so you can understand. So your tier 1 level of funding is with your major banks, okay? So with your major banks, those are like your Chase Bank, your American Express, your Bank of America, okay? Now, those are your tier 1 banks. However, when you have a new business and you have less than a 680 credit score, then you may not get a lot of funding. So that's the reason I tell you to go to tier 3. Now, let me break it down about tier 2. Now, with tier 2, that's going to be your regional banks, okay? And leave a comment if this is going to be helpful, because I think if you learn this here strategy, you'll never have to worry about getting business funding, all right? So with 2 being your community banks and your regional banks, all right? So those would be like Truist Bank. Those would be like BCU. Those would be like Regions Bank, okay? Those would be like Citizens Bank. Those are your regional type of banks, all right? Now, your tier 3, those are going to be your credit unions, all right? So with your credit unions, the thing about it is they're more focused on a relationship. So that's the reason why you do not need to have a 680 credit score, because it's all about the relationship. And I'm gonna tell you some of the best credit unions you should go to in order to get a business loan. Now, tier 4. Now, tier 4 is interesting because these are your fintechs, okay? So with your fintech type of institutions and stuff, they're focused more on just the revenue that's generated by the business. They're not even focused on the credit score. So you can see how it goes from tier 1 to tier 2 to tier 3 to tier 4. So the ones that you want to go with, that most likely, especially if you don't have a 680 or a higher credit score, you want to go with your tier 3 and your tier 4, okay? Now, that being said, let's talk about some of these tier 3 credit unions that you should take a look at. Now, also, just keep in mind that with a lot of these tier 3 credit unions, you have to be careful on your NAICS code. Now, let me tell you some of the worst NAICS codes, because I have a video coming out about the best NAICS codes. But like when you're trying to go into like real estate, that's a high risk. When you're trying to do like CBD oils and stuff like that, anything related to drugs, is going to be high risk, okay? If you're going to do like ATM withdrawal machines and stuff like that, that's going to be like high risk type of things, all right, okay? So those are just a few examples. Selling ammunition, like selling bullets and parts for guns and stuff like that, those are the things that you have to really pay attention to, like credit repair. So those are going to be the, if they see any of those, more likely these here credit unions won't even open up the business account, all right? If they have any of those in the name, okay? So that being said, in reference to your best credit unions that you actually should take a look at when trying to get business funding, especially when you don't have no revenue in the business and you only have a 680, less than a 680 credit score, then you want to look at like Financial Partners Credit Union. Now, this is a non-geo-restricted credit union as well. Now, the reason why is because they will give you business funding, business loans, business credit cards, okay? And the thing about it, the reason they're one of the top tier is because they use a Vantage 4, TransUnion Vantage 4. That's another thing that you guys need to understand. When it comes to business funding, you want to try to find institutions especially when you're trying to get a lot of money right away. You want to try to find institutions that are working with a FICO 9, a Vantage 3, or a Vantage 4. And the reason being is because with those type of institutions, they will accept you adding on like authorized users, rental payments, subscriptions, okay, to help increase the credit score. So that's the reason why they're on the list. So as financial partners, they use TransUnion Vantage 4. Then you have BCU. Now with BCU, this is Baxter Credit Union. They use a TransUnion Vantage 3. All right. Now you would join them through the Life Money U program, which is $5 and they waive it. But at the same time, they may do a phone consultation with you as well. But the good part about these here credit unions I'm telling you about, they're non-geo restricted. So you can be anywhere in the country and you will be able to join them. All right. Then you have Veridian. Now with Veridian, they're TransUnion Vantage 3 as well. Now they're with the Habitat of Humanities that you would join in order to be a part of them. However, I would tell you that with them, they want to do a video conference, okay, just to verify you, to get to know you and stuff. To me, I think it's weird, but okay. Hey, if you want the money, then do what you got to do. All right. Then you have NASA Federal Credit Union. Now, here's the thing about it with NASA. NASA is also an Experian Vantage 4 credit union. Okay. Now, some people, they said that they are regional. I've heard some people that had success not being in the region with NASA in order to get qualified. All right. Then you also have DCU, Digital Credit Union. Now they use an Equifax Mortgage 5 score. All right. Now, if this is helpful to you, leave a comment. Let me know. All right. I really appreciate it. And give me a thumbs up and share it if you're okay with it, because I'm always trying to help the community, and I appreciate if you all just reciprocate a little. I really appreciate it. But going back to DCU, Equifax Mortgage 5. Now, here's the interesting thing about this. A lot of people are not even aware they have a mortgage credit card score. So they're just in the dark. They miss out on so much money because they never knew of these opportunities. By the way, if you need help structuring your business the proper way in order to get qualified for funding, click the link in the description. Schedule a one-on-one consultation. All right. Then you have Consumers Credit Union. All right. They use a Vantage 3 TransUnion. Now, the interesting thing about Consumers, they also use Elon Financial. Okay, so Elon Financial is the sister financial institution to U.S. Bank. So if you can't get into U.S. Bank, which is uses a FICO 9 scoring, then you want to use Elon Financial. All right, and so the reason they're good is because I tell people, whenever you join in a credit union, you always want to start with the business credit cards. Like I said, they will give you a business credit card as well as a business loan. And the good thing about credit unions, if they're doing a hard pull on your credit, you can usually use that hard pull anywhere from 30 to 90 days in order to qualify for multiple products, right? So with some of these credit unions, they may use two different credit bureaus. All right. And so what I mean by that, let's take Navy Federal, right? Now, in terms of Navy Federal, just talking about the two different credit bureaus, like on the personal side, they use TransUnion FICO 9. But on the business side, they use Experian FICO 9. So that's what I mean in terms of the difference in them. All right. Now, there's another credit union. This credit union, I would definitely tell you to look out. It's Connector Credit Union. All right. And so with Connector Credit Union, they use Experian FICO 9 as well. Okay. And they're very flexible to work with as well. All right. Then you have Andrews Federal Credit Union. Andrews Federal Credit Union is a black-owned credit union. Okay. Now, in terms of when joining Andrews Federal Credit Union, as well as any of these other credit unions, always said, build a relationship and how you build the relationship, especially when you're going out to business funding. I would tell you to open up a personal checking account if you're able to do deposits, and a savings account, and then your business account. Now, going back to the deposits, for those of you that need help with setting up deposits, if you like free payroll for at least 4 months and stuff, hit payroll, type payroll below, and I'll send you over a link. You can schedule a one-on-one consultation with me, explain your business and stuff, and we can set up payroll for you. Okay? Now, you also have, and this here is where the tier 4 comes in at, and this is very important. Like with DreamSpring, okay? So DreamSpring is a CDFI, all right? At the same time, with DreamSpring, they use Upstart to distribute their loans. Now, one of the best parts about DreamSpring, okay, they're not a credit union. They're just a CDFI, all right? They're funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Now, they offer lines of credit up to $50,000. Now, the interesting thing about it, like I said, for these here lenders, you don't need a 680 credit score. They'll even accept a 620 credit score. Now, they will pull TransUnion FICO 9, but at the same time, using Upstart, they may also look at your LexisNexis as well. Okay, so that's something that you definitely have to take into consideration. But one of the key things that I always tell people, like I stated in the beginning, your NAICS code, this can definitely make or break you. Okay, because with the wrong NAICS code, they may not even choose to open up the business bank account. So you have to be very careful. Now, another thing I would tell you, when you join in these credit unions, and you don't have to join multiple credit unions, you can pick one. All right. Now, in terms of when you short on capital to get funding and stuff like that, I would tell you some of the best resources. If let's just say that you're already in business and you're making money, then but the credit is just worse than a 680. Say you're like a 580 or whatever, then you may have to look at like a Fair Figure. Okay, so like with Fair Figure, they'll give you a loan long as the business is making at least $2,500 a month. All right, plus they'll give you 2 trade lines, because they're going to give you a financial trade line and a regular trade line and a product trade line. And the reason is because they offer like a credit monitoring service. However, the thing about it is that when you sign up for the credit monitoring service, and if you're actually generating revenue at least $2,500 in the business, they will actually offer you a loan as well. Okay, so that way, if you have bad credit and you need a loan and stuff, that may be an option. Then you have another option, which is Fundo. So here's the thing about it with Fundo. They are merchant cash advance, so of course the interest rates is definitely going to be much higher, so you have to be very careful with them. However, they're not focused on your credit. All right, they're focused on the revenue in the business. So if you're at least making $1,500 or more a month, they're going to use Decision, Logic, or Plaid to verify that. So as long as you have 3 to 4 deposits in your bank account a month, then Fundo going up to $10,000. Unfortunately, like I tell you in all the other videos, they don't operate in California as well as New York. However, they may be a good resource to help you jumpstart your business. All right, so I hope this video helps you. If you need any other questions answered about business funding, personal funding, removing negative items off the credit, click the link in the description. Schedule a one-on-one consultation. Thank you.